And we are live.
Acting foolish, overdressed, confusing the crowd. You won't see me at this bar again. Happy hour, habit stalls, my feet on the ground. Whiskey 7 on my cardigan. Last night, ain't in my clean slate. And I got nothing but...
Coming to you live from the great state of Wisconsin is the Overdue Sports Team. I am your host, Will Massa. To my right, as always, co-host Jake Sawinski. How are we doing today, buddy?
Better today. Minus my hat being very weirdly shaped. I'll be playing with that the entire show probably. I usually wear my hats like a doorknob anyways, but otherwise we're good. We're really good. Got lucky on the bet so far. Couple stinkers, but some wild ones.
Hoping to have a turnaround in the nightcaps. 1 and 2 as we sit right now. Looking at Texas -4.5 and UC Riverside -2, which we'll jump into later. We got a giant show tonight, folks. We were kind of debating cutting this into 2, but there's some conferences that people may not care about out there, so we're going to put them all into one. So we've got 7 conferences to run through tonight. We got the Mountain West, the Big West, the SWAC, the MAC, the WAC, the MEAC, and of course, the private school pussies, the Ivy League. We are going to kick off in the best conference of any of these, the Mountain West, which realistically could send 7 teams. I don't think they'll get 7 bids, but
I'd say 4. You could make a case for 7 of them. Yeah, I think you could make the case for half of this conference, but I think 4 will end up getting in.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're a bit behind the 8 ball. We had Wyoming and Fresno State play this morning. Fresno State took that game as the 9 seed, so Wyoming is bounced. And Colorado State was up by 6 on San Jose State at the break, so we'll see how that finishes out.
Yeah, Wyoming's like a almost relegate them team for me. Like I'm so sick of watching them suck. Like I hate that team. But you want to take us through betting odds? I mean, like you said, Wyoming's out, so don't worry about them. Fresno State will be out, I'm assuming, next game.
Should be. Yeah, we'll run through. So we got Utah State as the 1 seed plus 425, Nevada plus 500, Boise State plus 600, UNLV plus 550, San Diego State, the betting favorite, as the 5 seed plus 260, New Mexico plus 600, Colorado State plus 750, Wyoming, who's bounced, Fresno State plus 3,500, San Jose State plus 50,000, and Air Force plus 50,000. And both of us have bets in this conference. We threw down some money this morning, actually. So spoiler alert, we have different picks for this one, but
yeah,
it'll be an awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this conference tournament. I mean, outside of the first 2 games, like each one's going to get better as we go along because the top of this conference is obviously really good. But I'm on Nevada. I did not get the very generous plus 500 number that you said. I got it at 350 offshore book. Woohoo! But it's just a hunch thing. Like I don't know if San Diego State's gonna win this tournament. Like the betting odds reflect. Part of that is like they have been kind of up and down, but defense bodes well in the tournament.
Staple.
Yeah, and they're very good at it. But it could just be having a little nasty taste in my mouth. I bet San Diego State against Boise at home. I laid them, especially after San Diego State lost in Boise. So that kind of ticked me off. I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. And I mean, you're on Boise, which I also think is a legitimate play. I mean, there's 6 teams I see that could probably win it. I think Colorado State has kind of fizzled out. Like they've been pretty quiet in the second half, and they haven't been playing as well. But I think Nevada's overlooked. Like they're a good team too. You know what I mean? I think
Steve Alford is killing it over there. He's
exactly.
a really good coach.
Mm-hmm. I think the 2 obvious ones are going to be San Diego State and New Mexico. Those are 2 that I wouldn't look to. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they hit, but like I just think New Mexico they need to play at the Pit. And when they don't play at home, I feel like they're just a different team. And I don't know if it's the same thing this year. I feel like they have some attitude on that team. like they get a little feisty. I remember like some kid threw a punch in a game I bet last year. I don't know, like I don't know where I was even going with that. It's just I don't know. I just emotions boil over. I don't even know what I was trying to say there, but I just don't think they're going to be the team to win this tournament. I think they're going to be well. I think they've played well enough to like earn an at-large bid, and like you could make a case for Colorado State, New Mexico, Nevada, Boise, San Diego State, and Utah State. I mean, I think those were the 6 right there. As for the other teams, I think Utah State is just a little too dependent on the 3 ball for me. I think they can get up and down with anybody in this conference, but I'm just curious to see how all of these teams play away from home because I think each team has a unique home advantage. Each one's a little bit different. Like Colorado State has the altitude. You have that stadium in New Mexico. I mean, that home
Pit.
for
That
San
place
Diego.
is nuts.
Yeah, it's just each team, it seems like, has its own unique type of home court advantage. It's not even just, oh, the fans are really crazy and they play really well at home. I think that like there's an extra wrinkle to it. So this one's interesting. But like I said, I played Nevada, and what say you?
Yeah, I played Boise State. I got it at 5 plus 9, 595, not plus 600, but right around that mark. That team, and I know that they had a lot of hype around them like a month ago, and they've kind of been quiet since then. But that team is capable of beating anybody in this conference. Like, honestly, the game I'm most afraid of for this future is if favorites win, Nevada and Boise State in the semis. That's like the game to me. I think whoever wins that game has a real good chance of coming out, assuming they don't get beat up too bad before the championship game. But like you were saying, like you could make a case for any of the top 7 seeds, and I would probably agree with you. Like there's validity to any of those top 7 that we mentioned. This conference is going to be fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
It's going
and
to be such a fun tournament.
it is during the regular season too, because like you'll have Fresno State go on the road and beat somebody they shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's awesome. Like this is one of the best conference tournaments there are for sure, and like their league play signifies that too. Now them translating it into the big dance last year was much better, but I'm curious to see how that bodes for them this well too, because typically as a conference they're notorious chokers, and then San Diego State kind of put that to bed last year. But outside of them, like the rest of the conference played okay as well. I think. I mean, Utah State lost.
Boise and Utah State, I think, got bounced in the first round. I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I was pretty high on both, and they.
Yeah, I think Boise lost to Northwestern. Is that it?
Yeah,
it
I remember who they lost to, but I'm pretty sure they both got bounced early because I was really high on both. I was like, this conference is for real, and they both got bounced really early. But obviously, we had the San Diego State championship run.
And so that kind of erases. That kind of erases all of the previous woes of the conference. But I'm just curious to see if they do have poor representation again, of the teams that do make it. But ironically enough, I think this is probably their best field that we've seen in quite some time to be able to go in and make some noise.
Dude, even UNLV is a scary team. Like, I wouldn't take them in this conference tournament.
No, I don't think
they're another team that, like, capable of beating anybody on any night in this conference.
Yeah, for sure. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter taking that angle. It's like, oh, UNLV might just win the Mountain West tournament. Well, they play at their stadium every year. I don't think that's like a unique advantage. Just because it's at the same place every year. Sure, they'll have a leg up, but like early on, you know what I mean? Like it's one thing to kind of steal a game. You're playing at home against one of the better teams when you're in the middle of your schedule and they're off traveling, playing whoever, play a couple road games and go to you. That's a little different than like they're staying there and you have to beat those good teams 3 times. You know what I mean? I think that's a little different. So I'm not buying into the UNLV win the Mountain West, even though it's
I'm not either. But
if they could replicate one of those frisky games they play 3 times in a row, they absolutely could. I just don't think they're going to.
Yeah. I mean, UNLV San Diego State as game 1 tomorrow is going to be a crazy good match.
Yeah. Oh, I would be hesitant to lay anything with San Diego State because UNLV could give them a run for their money. You know what I mean?
I mean, we
And
should see like that quarterfinal round is going to be crazy. I mean, outside of the Utah State game, like we're going to have UNLV versus San Diego State. We should have Nevada versus Colorado State, and we should have Boise State versus New Mexico.
yeah, it's going to be good. I love the Mountain West.
Oh, it's such a good conference. I love it. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the bottom, like we mentioned. Like I don't think Fresno is really any.
It's a significant drop off in this conference, like very notably significant drop off. It's not like, some of those other conferences where like, oh yeah, the bottom's really bad. Like the bottom here is really bad. It's like not quite Big East, Georgetown, DePaul bad, but the bottom of the Mountain West is not good.
No. Any closing thoughts outside of your bet? One more time, Jake's on Nevada plus 350. I am on Boise State plus 600. We might be head to head on Friday in that one.
Might be. I mean, I'm not going to shame any bet of the 6 teams we mentioned, the 6 or 7. No, like this was a hunch play for me. It was probably the same for you. Like any one of those 6 teams. I would say Colorado State has the lowest chance, probably reflected in the betting odds, which makes sense. It's kind of, on par with what you'd expect just watching the games anyways, not knowing the betting odds. I feel like they are the longest shot of that group, then followed by like New Mexico, but like Nevada, San Diego State, Boise State. Sure. I mean,
all legitimate
Utah State, all have a legitimate chance of winning this because they all beat each other all year long.
Yeah, they do. That's the only thing that's made it tough to like handicap this conference tournament is like all of these teams have beaten each other. Like there wasn't a team that just like ran the table.
Yeah, who won the regular season again?
It would have been Utah State, right? They're the 1 seed.
Yeah, and I feel like they split with those 4. You know what I mean? And then it's like a difference between whoever dropped one they shouldn't have.
Yeah, and that place is really tough to go.
Yeah, and I think Utah State is probably the one team that I recall that did not drop one they shouldn't have.
I mean, you could make the argument of Colorado State. They lost to Colorado State at Colorado State by 20. So like,
yeah, it's a bad game. Yeah, that's probably the one in conference like that. I mean, that's a game they probably should lose anyways. But like the showing was poor. But
yeah,
I just don't like them because of their style of play. I feel like they play a lot like BYU, a lot of run and gun kind of play. But all these teams can get up and down. San Diego State and Boise State are obviously the 2 best defensive ones. And I think New Mexico and Utah State like to get up and down. And I think Nevada is kind of a hybrid,
That team's
I don't think they're not known. They're not known for their defense, but
no,
I think they put a little more effort on that other end of the floor.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, moving on to the Big West, which also kicks off tonight. We've got UC Irvine as the 1 seed minus 200, UC Davis plus 450, Hawaii plus 850, Long Beach State 11-1, UC Riverside 45-1, UCSB 20-1, CSUN 60-1, and Bakersfield 50-1. This is a weird one. Irvine minus 200 honestly kind of surprises me.
Well,
prior to this, but
their biggest competitor, UCSD, is not eligible. So I believe in this conference they don't even play. They don't even play.
UCSD is not. No.
Yeah, and this is their last year of having to sit out. They made the move from D2 to D1. I looked that up this morning, looking for a Big West future. But yeah, Irvine's definitely the best team in the field. Santa Barbara is typically the team that does make it out of this tournament, and they're not very good this year. I think they're about a 500 club. What are they priced at? I don't know if you've read the betting odds.
20-1.
20-1. Yeah, that's a little long. Like to me, it seems like this is Irvine's to lose. Yeah, I don't know. Riverside. What did you say Riverside was?
Riverside is 45-1.
Those are too long. Like Hell, Hawaii, Rainbow Warriors, give them a sprinkle.
That's
I
another
don't
team,
know.
like extremely unique home court advantage, and I would not take them on a neutral court setting. I wouldn't even debate it. Going to the Big Island is no easy task. So them having the 3 seed is probably pretty reflective of that. I would, if I were to bet this, which I'm not, but I would look at Long Beach State 11-1. They're really athletic. They have played some solid games in the mix.
Beat Michigan.
I like them. Yeah, they're a very long team. Like they're tough to beat. Obviously, like the shooting has been a problem for them, but if anybody outside of UC Irvine makes a run at it, I think it would be Long Beach. But they run into Irvine in the semifinals, assuming that favorites win. So
Yeah.
even that, I would be hesitant in. This is not a conference that I would play. But if I did, I would look to Long Beach.
Yeah. I mean,
It pains me, but dude, UCSB is still a decent group this year, and maybe it's just recency bias. I think they're better than they are. I mean, they're only laying
could be.
3.5 tonight against Northridge. I don't know. I would look at Long Beach if you really want to bet this. I wouldn't recommend betting this, but
Yeah. I mean, if you want to bet on the Gauchos for namesake, by all means, that might be the best mascot of the lot. But
they might have the best path, though. I mean, CSUN, Hawaii, and Cal Davis.
Davis might not be a bad look. I feel like they can.
I haven't gotten eyes on them this year. I honestly have no clue what they're about.
Yeah, I mean, they're nothing to really write home about, but I mean, to me, it's Irvine's to lose. Irvine's a solid group, and I wouldn't be shocked to see.
I would agree.
Through.
Yeah,
but it doesn't always work that way. But I would definitely not bet Irvine. But maybe this
not
is
at minus 200.
No, maybe this is a stay away. If you like, I wouldn't take any fault in Long Beach State. I mean, that's probably the one team that minus Irvine people would know about, or the Gauchos. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I'm not very high on UCSB this year either. I mean,
no,
bet on them a couple times. They've been a little disappointing, but to me, this one's pretty chalky. I think with UCSD out of the mix, it's probably Irvine's to win.
Yeah, I would agree. Moving on to the SWAC. We've got Grambling State plus 350, Alcorn State plus 280 as the betting favorite, Texas Southern plus 475, Southern plus 300, Bethune-Cookman plus 2,000, Jackson State plus 800, Alabama A&M plus 6,000, and Alabama State plus 2,000. No buys in this conference tournament.
Get it
one
over
plays
with.
8. Yeah, they run through it over the next 3 days. This is also an interesting one. I would look to Texas Southern as the 3 seed plus 475. Bethune-Cookman has shown flashes at times, but they're also really disappointing. And I've bet on them a decent amount this year. And so maybe it's that. Like, it always seems like they're laying short numbers. Again, another conference that's like very heavily home team. Like, home teams typically roll in the SWAC. I don't know if you have any strong feelings about this. I would look towards Texas Southern. But
I have one thought. I saw Southern on Twitter, and that is my official endorsement. I don't know who said it, but that's who I'm endorsing. Southern plus 300. That's my pick.
I
know nothing about this conference, nor do I have a desire to. Like, I'll bet it occasionally on a Monday night, and I don't usually fare very well.
I am historically bad in this conference, like ridiculously bad. I've only hit one SWAC bet over the last 2 seasons. I'm like 1-12 betting this conference over the last 2 seasons. Not that I bet it a lot, but on Monday nights, if I see something, I'll take a stab at it, and I usually get bit right in the ass. So this is not a conference I typically play, nor is it one that I like to play. I usually avoid this conference at all costs.
I think what I did when I hit SWAC bets, it's usually early in the season when I fade whatever Power 5 team they're playing, to be fair. But like I don't bet this conference a ton. I just don't know anything about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this would be like a perfect conference to use splits on, right? But like, if you don't know anything to put it into context, how are you going to know whether it's like too good to be true or not? So like, I typically stay away myself, but I'm using my Twitter endorsement is Southern is my recommendation to you. Actually, the first recommendation is look somewhere else, because call the number if you're betting a future in this conference. But
you're gonna need it.
The basketball's not even good. It's like you're watching.
No, it's bad.
Yeah,
It's not a fun conference. Not even a conference that I am interested in watching on Monday. As many gross games as I've watched, I will not typically go as far as to watch the SWAC.
Yeah, I think I bet more mid-major basketball than Power 5 basketball, and like I have no
Oh, I do
desire.
too. Yeah, it's not at all.
That might be a record. I think we covered that in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, not a lot to say about the SWAC. Moving on to Jake's favorite football conference, the MAC. A little bit of action tournament coming soon.
Absolutely.
We've got Toledo as the 1 seed plus 340, Akron plus 155, Ohio plus 330, Central Michigan plus 2200, Bowling Green plus 14,000, Western Michigan plus 6,500, Miami of Ohio plus 1,600, and Kent State, the 8th seed, rounding out the field at plus 600. Again, another tournament with no buys.
Do they cut the qualifiers, or do they cut the not qualifiers in this one as well? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, just the 8 teams. Yeah. I mean, it's I don't even want to call Kent State a dark horse. The odds would signify that, but I think it's namesake. Like, that is not the same team as last year. They lost most of their
they're
team
not good
from last year.
Yeah,
no, very different team. However, Toledo Kent State in the first round might actually be an interesting game.
Yeah, they just played too, didn't they, last week?
Yes, and I believe Toledo
curb stomped
them. Yes,
yeah, that was bad.
I believe I was on that game. Yep, Toledo beat them by 15.
Yeah, if you see a number like inside of 5 there, I would think about Kent State. Like just betting on that game. If it's any longer than that, like I think 8 to 10 would be fair, and if it's longer than 10, I would think Toledo rolls. You have the recent information that's helpful. I like Ohio.
I was about to dive into them.
I like Ohio.
Dude, that team, to me, they are still, and I know they got the 3 seed, they're still disappointing. I think their record is not reflective of how talented that group actually is, but they've been red hot. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10, with the highest net rating of anybody in the MAC over that span. So like that, if you're looking to like take a hot hand, Ohio's probably where you should look. I think Toledo, as good as they have been this year, it's different with expectations when you're the 1 seed. If Toledo wasn't the 1 seed, I'd look there 100%.
Toledo to me appears to be lackluster at times. Like they'll mess around, they'll end up winning, but like I think a lot of the times, like they're good. They've been good for a couple of years now, and I just feel like sometimes they lose focus a little bit. I mean, most of the games you're playing in that conference schedule aren't very good games. I mean, there's probably 4 or 5 you have circled every year, like your rivalry game. I mean, in the Ohio in-state, I mean, you have some rivalries there, but outside of those, you're probably circling the Ohio ones, and maybe in most years it would be like Kent State. Akron's really good too. I think you said they were the betting favorite, if not Toledo. They're 1 or 2.
Akron is typically the cream of the crop of this conference. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at them. They play unbelievably slow. I mean, they if they can control the pace, like they can come out on top. But we've seen them live duds. Like they lost to Western Michigan not too long ago. I can't remember when that was. Oh, that was the last game. That was the last regular season game. Akron lost to Western Michigan. I was on that. They were -9.
They were up. Yeah,
they were up by 15 at the break, and they blew that game. But that's a good team, man. A lot of old players, which goes a long way this time of year. Like, they might turn it up. Like they might come to play in this one.
They're well coached too. He's a good coach.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I mean, and for me, like Bowling Green beat Toledo, I think, earlier in the year, and you said they were 140-1.
Yep. I was actually about to mention them because they actually have some pretty good wins. I don't think that they're a candidate to win the tournament, but I think if there is a long shot in this tournament, it's Bowling Green.
Yeah, I was a little surprised it was even that long, but because they've beaten a couple of these teams already, but that's really long. I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, I wouldn't look that direction, but like that's one if you lay half a unit on it, you can get out of that immediately. at
Yeah.
140 to 1. Because I mean, if they were to win, who do they play first
Central
game?
Michigan, who they should beat.
They should beat, yeah, Central.
They'll probably be the
Michigan's not
underdog
very
in
good.
that game, but
Yeah, but then who's the winner play? The winner of
the winner of Toledo and Kent State.
so probably Toledo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could get out of that immediately. Well, it might be tough too because Toledo would probably be laying damn near
probably
double
gonna be laying.
digits. That would be a pretty juicy hedge out. But if you're putting a small bet on it, you won't be too mad losing it anyways. And betting a team on the spread is not hedging. Just for anyone listening, that's not how hedging works. I've seen people do that before. Should I bet this team on the spread if I have a future on this? No. That's not how that works. Whatever. But yeah, this
like Ohio here.
Yeah, I do like Ohio. They're playing well and they are a familiar name too, but like for a good reason. It's not like this team was good 5 years ago. Like they're always in the mix. Like they beat Virginia a couple years ago in the tournament. They play a good schedule too. Like I feel like they play some okay crossover games. I call them crossover games, with like non-conference games. I feel like they'll mix it up with a couple Power 5 teams as well, just like Toledo does. But I think they have a good chance, and where they're priced at, I think a lot of people are going to be looking to Toledo and Akron, and I think that kind of leaves Ohio there with some value on it.
Yeah, I like that play. I would mostly agree. Toledo at plus 340 though. That is not what I expected. But yeah, like you said, and to that point, like them and Akron, like they play with their food. They do. Like
yeah, they do. They mess around. Like Toledo especially. I feel like when Akron, like you can tell Akron has a bad day when they lose. Like just nothing. Where the defense isn't great. They're not hitting shots. Toledo messes around a lot.
Yeah.
Like they'll be up 15 and then all of a sudden they're losing. I think that happened like when they were playing Ohio. Like they were up big and then all of a sudden they come back. I mean, I don't quite remember, but no, I remember what it was. I bet an over in like Toledo and Ball State. It was like 140 and like Toledo was up 15 and then Ball State covered like 4. It's like, what are we doing? Ball sack stinks. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's Ohio. I mean, if you like Toledo, I think there's some value there too. Their upside's probably the best offensively, I'd say. But like Akron,
100%.
like you said, plays at a snail's pace, play the best defense. But Ohio's kind of that hybrid.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the best look here. Any MEAC closing thoughts?
Can't wait for football.
It's Jake's favorite action day.
Yeah, we'll get UMass in there too. Let's go. That's big time. They're not very good at football
though. No. Moving to the WAC, we've got Grand Canyon as the 1 seed minus 150, Tarleton State plus 380, UT Arlington plus 550, Seattle plus 700, Stephen F. Austin plus 2,500, Utah Valley plus 3,500, Cal Baptist plus 5,000.
Xavier. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I got Xavier on in the background, and I think they're going to cover the 2. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see. They're up 4. 12 seconds left. We're not there yet, but we might be. Okay.
And Abilene Christian rounding out the field as the 8 seed plus 6,000.
Ooh, they're stinky.
Yeah.
Remember they beat Texas 3 years ago in the first round? The game was like 30 to 32. It was insane.
Grand Canyon was they were one of the bottom seeds last year and they won this thing. I don't know. I don't remember what seed they were, but they won the conference tournament last year.
Yeah, they were
as like not a high seed.
No, I don't know if they were like at the bottom. I can't recall. You could be right. I just remember that game against Gonzaga when everyone was like betting Grand Canyon. I think Gonzaga did Gonzaga struggle with them or did they beat the crap out of them? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It was a big number. I think people bet Grand Canyon and were very disappointed though. But
They're good this year, though.
yeah,
They're really
they're
good this
actually
year.
good. But
17-3 in conference play.
mm-hmm.
And they have some good out of conference wins. They beat SDSU like way early on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
They also beat San Diego State and San Francisco. They've
San
got good wins this
Francisco's
year.
yeah, they do. Grand Canyon though is eligible, and the future I placed this morning is not eligible. Tarleton State. I played them
love
at
that
plus
play.
400. This is
Billy
one where
Gillespie.
yeah, exactly. I think this is one where if they can get to the championship game, I will be trimming this one in half. Like I will just profit equally no matter what happens. That way I will not have to pay attention to the game. Grand Canyon's are really good. And
They're
I
for
mean
real.
Tarleton's second favorite at plus 400
Um,
or third maybe.
They are second at plus 380. Yeah.
Yeah, I got them at plus 400, 380, yeah, something like that. But who's third? I don't
Should
quite
be
recall.
Arlington plus 550.
Okay, so I'm not. That team is so annoying.
Dude, that's another team that plays so
They're
slow.
so damn slow. Yeah, they're
Oh my
annoying. Like they just win 51-50. But outside of that, like I don't even think Arlington's a realistic option. I think your
No.
Tarleton State Grand Canyon
I love that
championship
play.
game,
I
you might
love
as
that
well just.
Tarleton play.
I think you should just book that one. Like if I could do
Yeah.
Grand Canyon versus Tarleton State, I probably would have done that instead. Like I think that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But
I
like
love that play.
a team like Seattle U, I wouldn't be shocked if like they, were a pain in the ass either. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know where the seating is. I know you read them in order, but I just don't see it. And if I don't see it, I don't always remember.
Yeah,
But
Seattle's the 4th seed. So if they win, they would play Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I think Seattle could be a pain in the ass though, which is good for me. But who's Tarleton have in the first round? Who's the 7th seed?
They'll have Arlington or the winner of Stephen F. Austin and Abilene Christian.
So Stephen F. Austin. SF Austin.
I really like that Tarleton play. That's a really well coached group. They brought in like 2 of the best junior college kids at the beginning of the year. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Billy Gillespie's first year there.
It might
I believe. He's a good skipper. He's a really good skipper. I really like that play. But not eligible for the big dance. So they're basically playing with house money, like stick it to the NCAA style. So
yeah, it's basically it's like Merrimack had they won.
Yeah.
Because they lost to Wagner. Yeah, go us, huh? We get Wagner out of the NEC. I'm thrilled. That team is ass. I hate them. They are so freaking bad.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter that were grumpy with that.
Yeah, I laid them. Yeah, I laid them. I wish Merrimack would have won so they could have just had like default punched a ticket. But I can't wait to fade them first game. They're going to be playing like Tennessee, and the score is going to be 10-0. It's But the thing about Tarleton State that I like, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but for this sake, I'm going to say it's a good thing. I remember betting Tarleton State plus 5 against Grand Canyon in conference play. I think that was like the first video we did that night. I don't know if they won or not. Yeah, they did win. Okay,
well,
so
the last time they played Grand Canyon, they won by 24. No. Sorry, not the last time, but they Grand Canyon won by 24 in Grand Canyon.
Tarleton won at home by like 5 or 4 or something.
Yeah, where is that?
It was like
they won by 3 at home.
3,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So like a lot of times what I'd consider, maybe not so much on a future aspect, but like, a game to game aspect, how have these teams played already, right? It's just, does that number make sense right now? Like if you were to see this game in the championship game, if it was featured that way, would you be able to get an idea of what has happened already right now? Like if it's Grand Canyon minus 12, well, okay, that's not good. But if it's Grand Canyon minus 4 or minus 5, like it's going to be a close game. You know what I mean? You might have an opportunity live to hedge that out. Is what I'm getting at. But you got to use the information that has available to everyone to make a decision. Because I mean, that's what the sports books do too. I mean, how do you think you bet like in a contrarian fashion, or a fade the public fashion? It's all information that's available. You just look at what they've done before. That's why it's too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like, I just hit Xavier -2. They just played Butler. That was the last game they played. Butler won by 6. Xavier's a neutral site favorite. That makes no sense. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with. Well, I was gonna say it's the same thing with USC, but that's not the same thing. USC won both of the games they played, so like that's like a weird one where you're like, I don't know. Washington is a dog, but like they probably should be, but USC is really bad. And people might think getting 4 points with a better record team is easy. That's what I mean. You got to kind of put what has already happened versus what you're getting into context. So, long story short, I'm happy at least Tarleton has at least competed. They won, but had they lost by a couple, I probably would have been okay with that. Because like I said, I think this is a hedge out one. This is probably not one that I'd keep.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon's
like
good. They should win.
They should win. Any WAC closing thoughts other than Tarleton State plus 380 or plus 400, wherever you're looking at?
I don't think so. I mean, UT Arlington would be the only other one I'd consider, really. Texas Southern, they made it last year. No, not Texas Southern.
Wrong conference.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not Texas Southern. You said SF Austin. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Never
mind. Now over to the MEAC. We've got Norfolk State plus 180, North Carolina Central plus 220, South Carolina State plus 550, Howard plus 400, Morgan State plus 2,200, Delaware State plus 1,000, Maryland Eastern Shore plus 9,000, and Coppin State 15-1. I'm looking at Howard here, and it may just be familiar name. They're usually at the top of this conference, and they haven't been the same this year. But that's where I would look. No, it's not. It's not
saying this conference is horrible. Outside, I mean, I wouldn't even classify as Howard as much good this year. But Norfolk State and NC Central will probably be the championship game again. That game was, I remember that game was on TV a couple of weeks ago, and that was a good game. So I think the MEAC championship game will also be a good game, relatively speaking. But Norfolk won the conference.
Norfolk won the conference, so the 1 seed.
And what did they do? They play each other twice, I'd assume. Did they split with NC Central, or did they win both?
They're actually playing right now against Coppin in that first round.
So they won already. Coppin State's ass.
Yeah. You're wondering about SC State or NC Central? NC Central. They won by 6 against NC Central, and they lost by 2 against NC Central. Okay. So they split home and homes.
Okay,
so
okay.
The home team won both.
Yeah, to me, this one's pretty chalky. Like, those are the 2 only really capable teams in this conference, and that's even a stretch.
Yeah.
When I say capable. But, like, if you like a longer play, like, I think Howard would be fine. Like, I think they're the only other familiar name in this conference because they're the only other name that should be familiar. The rest of this conference is bad. I've bet on Maryland Eastern Shore a couple of times, successfully too, mind you. I've bet on Coppin State. I bet on Coppin State last year when they beat James Madison. I didn't bet the money line. I took the points. That was a crazy day because Eastern Illinois beat Iowa that day too. That was a wild Saturday. But Coppin State reminds me, like, you know how they have like the eagle on their mascot or whatever, the CSU and then the eagle? It reminds me of like nasty cigarettes, like you'd see on the pack, and it's just like an eagle. I don't know why. That's what I think of. They're shit, just like cigarettes, right? For you, they're cool, but not good for you. But yeah, outside of that, it's definitely Howard. Like you said, Howard, and like that might as well be plus 2,000 to me. plus
It should be.
20,000. Yeah,
I would not take it at plus 400. That
I
team
wouldn't
isn't that
take
good this year.
I wouldn't take anything. I wouldn't take the favorite at plus 400 in this. I wouldn't take anything in this conference. If you do, you need serious mental help. But I've seen NC Central and Norfolk State play. They're two capable teams, honestly. Like, yeah, it's probably going to be those two unless they play each other before then. Which
No,
1 and
that's
2
1
they
and 2.
won't.
So, yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this conference. This is also another conference I try to avoid like the plague, similar to the WAC, not the WAC, the SWAC. These are usually like the Monday night bouts, and
yeah,
I
I
usually
bet this
just
one better. I do bet
stay
this one
away.
better though. Like I seem to catch Maryland Eastern Shore at the right time when they're playing SC State, or I bet an SC State over or something. But yeah, I typically look elsewhere. But I know some of the teams at least.
It's
I
true.
don't know. Yeah, you like hoops if you're familiar with this conference because it's not good.
It's not good. Oops. Rounding out the show, the private school pussies, the Ivy League.
What's your
they
deal
cut
with
out.
academia? What's your deal with academia? What's wrong with going to school?
My problem is that they only play on the weekends because they're not allowed to play during the week.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I like this conference. I just suck at betting.
No, they're fun. These teams are fun.
No,
I actually
I
really
do like. I like
don't get
this
it twisted.
conference.
I enjoy this conference a lot. They cut out half the field though. There's only 4 teams that play in this tournament. So we'll have the top 4 teams: Princeton, Cornell, Yale, and Brown. Yuck! I cannot believe that Brown is in this tournament.
I might bet Brown against the spread, but like they beat Yale the other day. Do they have a rematch with Yale, or do they have?
They'll have Princeton
they'll play
in the first round.
Princeton.
And they're gonna get
That's gonna be it. Well, no, I think they beat Princeton too.
Did they really? Dude, that team is awful.
Brown is a nuisance.
I've bet on them a handful of times this year, and they make me so upset.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
they might split with the whole field.
They've won their last 6. They beat Penn, Columbia, Cornell, Harvard, Dartmouth, and Yale in the last 6.
Did they end up beating Princeton, or did Princeton handle
No,
their
Princeton
business?
swept them. Yeah.
Okay.
Princeton
that's why
them.
Brown's here. They're here by default because Brown was the one team that didn't just split with all the bad teams. They beat Columbia, Dartmouth, and Penn how they should. But
And they played Cornell twice. Really tough. It's hard to fade Yale in this one.
Oh, for me, it's Princeton.
Oh, I do love Princeton this year. I agree. I don't know, and like we don't have the odds out yet.
Well, either or, like Yale or Princeton, I think would be the look. Like Cornell just plays too fast. They sacrifice a lot of defense. Like I bet you they shoot 30, 40 threes a game. Princeton plays pretty quick too, but I think they're a little more balanced. And then Yale is like a rock. Like all they do is play defense. But to that coach's credit, I think they're much better this year offensively than in years past. But I would like Princeton or Yale to come out of this one. Like
I would look at Princeton. I actually watched this game. They played Yale almost a month ago now, like towards the tail end of the season. They played Yale at home. Dude, those teams, they get after it though. They let them play. Like they were banging up each other in the paint. Like it was a physical game. They've got good guard play. They've got that I don't know his name, but they've got this Asian kid that runs the point for them.
He's got the goofy hair. Yeah. Got this poofy, kind of like, I don't know what you kind of call hair, but yeah, they're good. Like,
yeah, I like them Princeton a lot. They had the run last year too in the tournament. Like they beat Arizona last year.
Beat Mizzou last year.
I have a feeling a lot of people will be on them.
I see, like, typically I would agree with you. Like, I don't like to go back to the familiar names, but like in this case, they're good.
Dude, they're good this year.
They're actually good. And I think they've kept most of the players they had to. They might have lost one guy to the portal.
Yeah.
Like
and
they're
they've got
big
good
guy.
Wins out of conference. They beat Rutgers at the rack early on. They always play Rutgers at the rack. They actually dominate Rutgers in that series. Like they play every single year. They always beat Rutgers. Doesn't matter. It's always like the first week of the season. They beat Hofstra and Duquesne, which are on the road on both. So pretty solid road wins. Like Dude, they're good this year.
They're
Like,
good.
I would
Yeah,
not be
they're a
surprised to
legit
see
team.
them again, round of 32 again, depending
They're
on
a
what seed
legit
they get.
team.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends too, like how public it actually is, right? Like,
Yeah.
Maybe in that first game, it's like this. If you don't like Princeton, I would just fade them both games. You know what I mean? But I don't think they're going to be overwhelmingly public. I don't think people pay a ton of attention to the Ivy League until the actual tournament starts and
Still a
there's an
big
Ivy
dance.
League
Yeah.
team in the field. But Princeton or Yale would be my endorsement. I think we both agree there. Like
Yeah.
if Cornell hits all their shots, sure, they
Mhm.
could. The first game they play, they could win in a boat race. Like it would be an NBA game damn near if they hit all their shots. But yeah, I'm sorry, Brown. I
have no
don't see you
confidence in that
winning
team
2 of
at
these
all.
games in a row. But that would be awesome if Brown won. Did you
Dude,
say
if Brown
Brown was
comes
like
out,
a? What are the odds on Brown? Just they can't
there's
be
no
that
odds out
long.
yet.
Oh, but I mean they can't be that long. It's such a small field. I bet you.
Yeah,
they'd
I mean, you only
probably
have to
be
win
like,
2 games to get through.
yeah, it'd probably be like 15 or 20 to 1 at the longest, I would have to
Yeah.
imagine. But Princeton or Yale, I mean Yale plays some really solid defense, and I think Yale who played in the championship last year? Princeton, and was it Cornell or
Yale.
was it Yale?
It was Yale.
Yeah, and it's typically, Yale and whoever, Yale and Princeton, Yale and Cornell, Yale and Harvard, whoever, it's typically Yale in the mix there. But I like both of those teams. I can't really say which one I like better. I mean, I think Princeton's just a little more balanced. But
I would
I wouldn't
agree.
be shocked if Yale, put the clamps on and played some good defense for 40 minutes. But I also wouldn't be surprised if, Yale beat Brown or however you said it shook out. I don't know. Long day at work.
Yeah, I agree. I would look at Princeton and Yale, like you said. I mean, Cornell just plays that like we're going to sprint up the floor and burn 0 shot clock and jack up a 3. And when they're, I mean, even their wins, dude, like they'll win like 95 to 88. Like they really don't care about defense. Like they will try to boat race you. Which
it's like a smart Iowa.
Yeah, as much as I don't like that style of play, it fares better in a 2-game tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the chances of you stringing games like that together are fine. And Cornell would give whoever they play an issue, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Cornell-Yale in round 1 is going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. But I'm excited for this one. It just doesn't last very long. I wish they would open it up to 8 teams just to see Columbia. Well, Columbia not so much.
Dartmouth was awful this year.
5,000. I think Dartmouth lost to like Grambling State last year. They're so bad.
Dude, they're bad. That's a bad.
Are they good at like lacrosse? Are they good at anything besides school?
They got to be good at lacrosse.
I know it's a Northeast thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lacrosse or like Ivy League basket weaving or calculator building or spaceship launching. I don't know, something that smart people do because us dummies like sports and they're not good at those.
They've got horrible losses this year. They lost to UAlbany. They lost to New Hampshire. They lost to Marist. They lost to Lemoyne by almost 30.
Lemoyne is like a brand new team.
I know.
Yeah. Like I don't even are they even a move up? I thought they just started their program. Okay, so they were D2.
I believe so.
Okay. But it would be funny if they just lost to a brand new school. We just started Lemoyne College in 2023. And
I mean they only won 2 games this year and neither of them were Division 1 opponents.
Yeah, and Dartmouth is 400 years old and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Princeton at the end of the day. I think they're
Yale for me.
Yeah. I think Princeton is a legit threat in the tournament if they get through this.
Yeah, again, and I don't. That's not recency bias either. They're actually really good.
Yeah, no, they can play. Any more closing thoughts on the Ivy besides expand your tournament, Ivy? Please.
No,
just for the fun of it.
Yeah, just for the fun of it. No, I don't have any other thoughts. Just checking on my Oregon State UCLA rock fight. They have scored 10 points in the last 10 minutes.
That's what you want.
Unders to like.
Dude, that total was low too. That was like, what was it, like
No,
125?
I'm like, dude, that is so low. But guys, you know how they say overs never die? Well, unders don't always. Well, unders die obviously, but like Fordham and VCU had 75 points in the first half. That game stayed under. It was 134.5, 75 points in the first half. It stayed under. Despite their best. And it was crazy too. Like, I didn't watch the whole game because like watching unders sometimes are tough, especially when the number's low. Like if you bet an under, like a 160, 170, like it's not very alarming. But like when you bet a low under, you're like, stop scoring, stop scoring, stop scoring. Like everything is like a disaster because anytime the ball goes in the hoop, you're like, damn, I don't have room to play with. Let me read you this box score real quick. So, let me pull up the Rice and Wichita State one just for reference because they scored like 170 points. Rice was 29 of 55. Wichita State was 35 of 70. I got a little unlucky there, but yeah, Rice losing by 7 was a miracle. Wichita State hit 15 more shots. And together they shot 39 free throws. Right? Total went over by like 40. Now listen to this. Under 134.5 Fordham VCU. $49 shots, 42 shots. 25 total turnovers. Combined 17 of 36 from 3, which is actually pretty good. It's about 37%. 57 free throws. 57 free throws. They were 40 for 57 from the line put together. They had 100 and they finished with 131 points. 40 of them were from the free throw line. Realistically, they should not have broken like 110.
Well, VCU shot 39 free throws on their own.
Yeah, isn't that fucking insane?
Yeah, and they shot 68% from the line.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got lucky, but like the flow of the game was like, how the hell is this even close? How do you have 62 points on 49 shots? And like a 40.8% clip is like below average. It's not like awful. It's not good, but it's not like the worst you've ever seen. It's crazy. 57 free throw attempts. And it stayed under. It was meant to be. Jesus, boys, stop falling. And I mean, to be fair, I did catch the end of it, and the refs were getting a little ticky tacky. It seemed to me, but it's like, guys, you getting into the game isn't conducive like with free throws when you both play like snails. Like you don't have to foul. Like just you'll get a stop. Just wait. Just do it early enough. Okay, you don't have to foul. Like, imagine if VCU like didn't go to the line 40 times for them, you probably win by 20. You know what I mean? It's like stand there with your hands behind your back. At one point, I was yelling at the TV, and it's like, "Why the hell are you fouling him? Like, just stand there for 30 seconds and let him shoot it. He ain't gonna make it. He hasn't made it all game." It's like, what's the difference? Oh. Yeah, that one took a little time off my life, but 3-1 in A10 play.
There you go.
3-1 in A10 play, and I hit totals today too. Like I didn't get the blog out yet. I do have to write that for you, and I'll get that out to you soon. But I have been really bad at totals like the last week or two. Felt really good. Free throw luck on each of them because Florida State and Virginia Tech was like the same thing, but the opposite. Where I needed all the free throws and I kept getting them, which was cool. So it was like it was a good day to be Jake betting totals.
Well, that's our show, folks. This is the cap off. This is the last episode of conference tournament previews. We'll probably do a March Madness one once the brackets come out, and by probably like we will. So
Sunday night, yeah, we could probably do 2 on Sunday night because the playing games start on Tuesday. So maybe just run through it.
True.
Not sure if we're gonna like release a bracket or anything, just because him and I will disagree on like so many of them. Like he's probably like, I can't
We
wait
put them
for
out into the
tennis.
ether just for shits and gigs last year. I
Yeah,
threw them up on the college picks
I think
website.
we did. Yeah, you're right. I think you did.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for Selection Sunday. I can't wait to bet on McNeese. I can't wait to pick McNeese. I'm so excited. I've been talking about it for months. I can't wait to have McNeese just sneak up on like, I don't know, a team like TCU. But that would probably be a bad example because I think they play. But you know what I mean. Like that team's. I think
real.
Sweet 16. I don't hate it. What if Nichols wins?
You're gonna be dashed. Your hopes and
Well, I mean, Gonzaga already just bent me over. I was like, they will win. Don't worry about it. And then they lose. Like they weren't winning for 1 second of the whole game.
dude, St. Mary's punked them from the tip.
I mean, I look like a dummy, but so does everyone else who does this for a living from time to time.
Yeah,
or,
that's true.
Does this recreationally from time to time. But whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't like them. I don't hate them either. So I don't care. Yeah, I was wrong. So what? At least I'm talking about it, not pretending it didn't happen.
It's true.
Oh, we should do a recap of the kind of go through each one briefly and see how dumb we were in some of these conferences. Maybe we can do
That's
that in
true.
a weekly one. Maybe we can make a little segment.
That would be a good for the weekly one. Show all the people how bad some of our takes were. We had some decent ones though.
Yeah, we did. I
ones.
would have been a sad boy if I actually did bet Milwaukee. Because I would have hammered Oakland. I was like, well, Milwaukee's not winning this game. Like, I have to, like, get out of it now because it's not happening.
Well, that's our show, folks. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Overdue Sports. Website, overduesports.com. We're dropping all of our stuff there. We'll probably have some brackets out there. I'll throw them up there just for the people. It'll probably be on Twitter too. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have gotten some enjoyment out of these. At the very least, you maybe enjoyed watching us look like idiots on some of these picks.
But
funny. nonetheless, we're doing the thing. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Anybody who you know who likes college hoops, because we got more content coming for college hoops, and MLB is right around the corner. We're prepping for that stuff, so stay tuned on that end too. And we are out of here.
In these blueprints, same place you parked your car. And you were always out to get me back then. We would play too hard. Lost in my back pocket, riding in your front yard. This avenue signs a shamble. You only get so far.